From Southern Hospitality on Manhattan's Upper East Side, I'm Mark Hale for nypost.com. We got the Mets status report welcoming in our good friend and superb baseball columnist Joel Sherman. And Joel, we're about 6 weeks away from the July 31st trade deadline. What is going to make Sandy Alderson's job so difficult over these next 6 weeks?
Well, I think there's always a problem for GMs trying to decide two-thirds of the way through the season, who are we? Are we really good? Are we really bad? Should we be buyers and sellers? And the worst place to be is kind of right in the middle. At this moment, their fan base is starting to edge back to care about this team. But once a sell-off would begin, you could do some real long-range damage to your fan base. So Sandy Alderson, more than perhaps any other general manager in the sport, needs a declaration by his team. He needs them to win 8 of 10, lose 8 of 10, and define this moving forward. Mark, to me, the worst thing that can happen is win one, lose one, win one, lose one, and 6 weeks from now, Sandy Alderson is kind of in the same spot, not knowing exactly what he has in this team.
Right now, the Mets have an interesting trio of starters in Dylan G, Jonathan Neese, and Mike Pelfrey. All three are under club control for at least 2 more seasons. All three are 27 years old or younger. But how many of the three do you think are solutions, are guys that they can count on in this rotation or want to count on in this rotation going forward?
Well, Mark, I think it's an intriguing question. I really think a lot of this season is that question for the Mets. To me, Jonathan Neese can be part someplace, number 2, number 3, number 4 starter on a contender. There's no doubt to me. I think he has stuff. I think he's a very competitive kid. I have some doubt about where Mike Pelfrey's hard head and arm are at. He's pitched much better over the last 3 to 4 weeks, but I still wonder if he's a guy who wants to kind of get closer to the Midwest, to the West, and get out of New York. Dylan G's a fascinating guy. Is he Aaron Small and is going to have kind of a meteor moment here in New York where it's very quick and it's powerful, but that's what it is? Or is he Rick Reed, a guy who could have a substantial career for the Mets for 3, 4, 5, maybe even more years because he knows what he's doing and he has great precision with his pitches? I think it's a fascinating story moving forward, and I think that's what a lot of this season is about moving forward, Mark, is figuring out who is Dylan G and how can he help us?
All right, so that was Joel Sherman on Sandy Alderson, Francisco Rodriguez, Dylan G, and a lot more with the Mets. Joel and I will both be at tonight's Mets game against the A's. You can read Joel all the time either on Twitter, which is at JoelSherman1, or on nypost.com. So from Southern Hospitality on Manhattan's Upper East Side, I'm Mark Hale for the New York Post.